Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 33 / chase race number 7 of Season 5 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the NRA 500 here at Texas Motor Speedway, as we are getting set for 44 laps of racing here at a fast, but yet bizarre, mile-and-a-half racetrack. We'll talk about why it's bizarre whenever we get to the pace lap. But before we take a look at the starting lineup, we gotta take a look at the chase. So after last week at Oswego, I was forgetting for a second, but after last week at Oswego, Dylan Jacobs leads the points by 10 points over Chris Dollarton, 17 over Paul Minnick, 22 over Jake Rogers, and then still a big gap between 4th and 5th and the rest of the drivers on back in the chase. 67 back is both Alex Drayton and Benjamin Miles. 69 back is James McLeod. 74 back is Kyle Matthews. 84 back is Joshua Collard. 96 back is Carson Gum. So, time's running out for some of those middle drivers in the chase standings like Miles and Drayton. They're going to have to start getting some good finishes. And hope the guys ahead of him start running bad so the championship can be closer between those drivers. But we'll see how things play out, especially considering after today, we got the next race is going to be the Denver Roval, then it's going to be California, and then the finale at the best track of the schedule, Kansas. But let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row, we have Paul Minnick, Trent Dunham. Well, Trent Dunham, Paul Minnick, I meant to say. But as far as where the other chasers are starting, Carson Gum 34th, Jake Rogers 31st, Joshua Collard 29th, Alex Drayton 23rd, James McLeod 17th, Benjamin Miles 12th, and then the top 10, Chris Dollarton, one of the home state boys, starting on the pole. Starting next to him is Ethan Hoffman. Row 2 is Dylan Thoreau, Kyle Matthews. Row 3, Emmanuel Hartnett, Preston Blord. Row 4, Matt McIntyre, Dylan Jacobs. And then row 5, Sean Galligan and Dylan Young. With that being said, let's get the command to fire engines for the NRA 500 at Texas.
Drivers, start your engines.
All 40 drivers on the racetrack for their one pace lap. So, remember how I said a little bit ago about how this track is rather bizarre? Well, over the years on this YouTube channel, we've had some of the most bizarre wrecks ever take place at this racetrack, as well as bizarre moments such as cautions that come out for absolutely nothing, and during pit stops, things can get really screwed up scoring-wise. So, I honestly expect more of the same of the latter than the former in this race, but you never know, we might be able to get away with a clean Texas race for once, but we'll see how things play out. Pace cars in pit road, so you know what time it is. It's time to boogity go racing. Well, Dollarton led the first lap, but now here comes Dylan Thoreau with a run to the inside. This is for the race lead. And then Emmanuel Hartnett kind of lurking into the picture. Meanwhile, bit of a hornet's nest back behind them. almost 4 wide right there for 4th, but it's still just 3 wide right now. And just as what we've seen at some of these mile-and-a-half tracks on the front stretch, some drivers end up backing off and slowing down on the front stretch, letting the higher lane drivers go by. At least this time around it's not as apparent, as Cody Lamas actually managed to get some spots out of that whole ordeal. Meanwhile, Dylan Thoreau continuing to lead here at Texas. Behind him, a battle for second might be ensuing. Chris Dollarton has the spot, but Emmanuel Hartnett wants the spot, and here he comes on the inside. Meanwhile, still a little crazy behind them as far as the racing and battles that are going on track. But yeah, Hartnett had the run on the inside, but didn't make the move stick out for him, and he's still trying to get around Dollarton. And in fact, Dollarton's actually using the outside lane to keep the spots. So it's like, depending on how many cars you got behind you, it's all basically draft dependent here at this track. If you got a lot of cars on the outside, it's going to be the outside lane that kicks in. But if there's a lot on the inside, it's the inside lane that kicks in. But speaking of the inside, here comes Cody Lamas. He's got to run to the inside of Chris Dollarton. Can he clear him off of 4? Man, if he could pull up ahead of Dollarton, he'll have him clear. But I guess he's sticking to the inside, considering he's actually about to go for the race lead underneath of Thoreau now. Cody Lamas has 2 wins already this season. He's trying to go for his 3rd, and he will be back in that car in the number 48 next season, but a different paint scheme, and we haven't figured out exactly what it's going to be just yet, because it's not going to be this car. Meanwhile, Benjamin Miles right now is the highest running chase driver, but teammate Dollarton, second in points, right behind him. Then the next highest chaser I see is Alex Drayton, then Jake Rogers, then Dylan Jacobs, the points leader. Then Kyle Matthews right behind him, then McLeod, Collard, Minnick, and there's Carson Gum back here. So yeah, Carson Gum, pretty much ever since the chase had started, he's been struggling all chase long. Meanwhile, behind Cody Lamas, battle on for second, Dylan Thoreau trying to get back up to the front, and he's trying to go underneath Benjamin Miles for the spot. And he's still got a run down there. It's just a matter of if he can get him cleared. Chris Dollarton, however, he's looking to go for the coast-to-coast, get the pole, and win this race. And if he were to win here today at Texas, this would be his 3rd win this season. Plus, this will really help him out in the point standings. In fact, right now, Dollarton would be the points leader, considering he is 15 spots ahead of Dylan Jacobs, plus he got the 2 bonus points for getting the pole and a bonus point for leading a lap. So technically he'd get 18 points on Dylan Jacobs. That is if everything were to stand right now at the end. But meanwhile, Dollarton's under fire from rookie Colin Phillips, who's getting a draft help from Alex Drayton. And Drayton, he's now going to try and take that spot from Phillips. And he's getting help from another chaser in Jake Rogers in the 56. 2 3-wide battles up here in the top 10 right now, which is really cool. Back up here at the front, Cody Lamas still leading. Dylan Thoreau still trailing him, but he's just maybe waiting to time his move, perhaps. And then a little bit of a gap back here to third. And right now, Alex Drayton has it. Jake Rogers, however, wants it, and he's got to run, and he's getting help from teammate Colin Phillips. Remember, MWR is a 4-car operation right now, with Phillips, Rogers, Patrick Smith in the 55, and Matt McIntyre in the 32. Colin Phillips right now trying to hold off some drivers, but Benjamin Miles with the run. Wow, Colin nearly came down in front of Miles, and that could have been a bad incident. Luckily, though, they showed respect, and things are still all right. Back up here at the front, however, Dylan Thoreau is trying now to go for the lead, and he's working on the inside of Cody Lamas. Let's see if he can make it work going into turn 3. Doesn't quite make it stick, but maybe he's going to get some help in the form of Jake Rogers. So now it's about to be a 3-car fight for the lead, with Lamas, Thoreau, and Rogers. Next season, however, well, actually, never mind. I was going to make a random joke, but now I completely forgot. I screwed up. My fault. Meanwhile, Lamas actually now starting to pull away a little bit from Thoreau, as now Dylan Thoreau is having to contend with Jake Rogers behind him. Almost as if Thoreau's changing his game plan and just trying to hold off the 56, but the 56 has got a strong race car, and here he comes underneath for the 2nd position. Meanwhile, that's actually helping to bring everyone else up here in the top 10 back up here to the leaders. Benjamin Miles reeling everyone up ahead of him, man. But now Colin Phillips actually now takes that spot from the 22. Although Phillips kind of slowed down a little bit right there on the dog leg coming to the start-finish line. But meanwhile, Cody Lamas, ever since he had taken the lead, he's been up here at the front pretty much the whole time. But you also got to keep in mind about potential pit stops. And now, wow, it was nearly 3 wide for the lead. Rogers had the middle, Thoreau had the bottom, but didn't quite make it work. But now, wow, look at that speed of Rogers. Look at the run he's got to the inside. Battle on for the race lead. Jake Rogers trying to get his 2nd win of the season, and also in hopes of closing in on the points lead going into the Denver Roval next week. Right now, Rogers has the lead. Dylan Thoreau actually takes 2nd from Lamas, and Lamas running way up on the racetrack, and possibly could lose more spots if he doesn't get himself back together. Since we're coming to the halfway point, we're going to do a full field rundown here at Texas. So currently, Jake Rogers leads. 2nd is Dylan Thoreau. 3rd is Cody Lamas. 4th, Alex Drayton. 5th, Colin Phillips. 6th is Benjamin Miles. 7th, Rafael LeDuc. 8th, Jonathan Zorling. 9th, Chris Dollerton. 10th, Sean Galligan. 11th is Emmanuel Hartnett. 12th is Tim Fiegel. 13th, Zachary Fitzwater. 14th, Diego Yepes. 15th, DJ Curtis. 16th, Dylan Jacobs. 17th, Joshua Sekuli. 18th, Ethan Hoffman. 19th, Dylan Poteet. And then 20th, Paul Minnick. 21st, Preston Plord. 22nd, Dougie Shears. 23rd, Jay Jefferson. 24th, Dylan Young. 25th is James Qualls. 26th is Joshua Collard. 27th, Carson Gum. 28th, Kyle Matthews. 29th, James McLeod. 30th is Matt McIntyre. 31st, Patrick Smith. 32nd is Trent Dunham. 33rd, Ryan Butcher. 34th, Jake Baskinger. 35th is Anthony McCurry. 36th is James Shelley. 37th, Cullen Francis. 38th, Charles Sanford. 39th, Jessica Sheldon. And then 40th, with damage, is Seth Cole. I'm not sure what happened, but he's got some driver side damage. And let's see about the right side. Yeah, it's almost like as if he's been sandwiched pretty hard by a couple of cars. Not sure what happened to the 98, but he's still on track. Still on the lead lap. Meanwhile, look at the lead Jake Rogers has built over second place. Almost 3/4 of a second. Battle on for third, however. Dylan Thoreau has that spot, but Alex Drayton wants it. But Drayton didn't quite have the move to go for it right there going into turn 3. Maybe if he can pull out to the bottom going into turn 1, he might have something. But he doesn't go for it right off the bat. Oh, a little arrow loose right there for the 17. Almost like the 14 was coming up a little bit, in which it got the 17 arrow loose. And now the 14 has a run. In fact, because tires are starting to age right now. Some cars are actually slipping up on the racetrack. So that's another key factor, and you gotta wonder, when are drivers coming into pit road? Nobody has come in, at least not yet. But Jake Rogers right now leads here at Texas. And let's see the margin how it is now. It was almost 8/10, now over 8/10. That lead continuing to grow for the 56. Let's see who's had the fastest lap of the day. Colin Phillips had a 26.193. But that last lap, Rogers had 27.066. He's slowing down, and that's a sign of pit stops. Looks like majority of the field's coming in, although a couple of cars... Oh, big hit! Cars not giving each other much time to slow down, and Hartnett runs right over the back of Jonathan Zorley, and I think that could put the 20 out of the race. Let's see if he's going to be able to continue. It looks like he is, but he is going to be very much off the pace. Yeah, it looks like majority field came in, but except for about, I were to guess, about 7 or 8 cars, but now they're coming in. All those drivers who stayed out, so that could be some strategy on the part of those guys to see if maybe they can get a quick caution and they'll be able to keep their spots. But let's stay on the pace car, because remember, we've had this happen many times here at Texas where during pit stops a random caution will come out. So we're going to stay on the pace car and keep an eye out for anything that might happen, at least until pit stops have concluded. So far, so good. As the rest of the field's coming out of the pits right now. Ryan Butcher just finished his stop. Yeah, it looks like for the first time, I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like for the first time in a long time, we're going to get a clean, no caution Texas race unless a wreck were to occur, because I don't think we're going to get the phantom caution this time around. And what do you know, I come back to the race and Jake Rogers back up at the front. However, his lead has shrunk significantly as it's now under 3/10 over Cody Lamas, and then a huge gap back here to Dylan Thoreau. Chris Dollerton right now the second highest running chaser on the racetrack, as I'm looking around to see... Oh, and there they go! There's our crash! Oh, and it's a hard crash! Hard hits, and oh my goodness, Kyle Matthews goes for a hard flip. More collisions going on when they start piling in. Oh, and Dougie Shears runs into there. What about Preston Plord? Looks like he's going to be okay, but I felt like I jinxed myself right there. The caution came out, however, not for a phantom caution. It was actually for something that happened on the racetrack. So for once, we actually get a caution that wasn't a phantom caution, but I'm not sure if Cody Lamas No, it doesn't look like it. I thought Lamas had maybe taken the lead from Jake Rogers, but now Rogers takes his spot back and he's still the race leader. Meanwhile, while we're under caution, let's take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Texas. So here's a look at what happened. So Emmanuel Hartnett was coming out of the pits, and he tries to get back onto the racetrack, but he did not see Joshua Collard right to his outside and just didn't have enough room to clear him there. It just ends up turning himself around, and then Collard with a hit right into the driver's door. But here's where it gets crazy. Seth Cole, Kyle Matthews all just pile into the wreck. Seth Cole actually took a pretty hard hit into the inside wall, comes back up and collects Kyle Matthews, who both hit the outside wall hard, and then Kyle Matthews, huge hit from Ryan Butcher, which sent him for a quick flip. And then you're going to see more cars start to pile in once those cars on the outside start coming back down onto the racetrack. The first one that I think is going to hit, if we can time it right here, is Dylan Young. Hard hit into the driver's door. And then Dougie Shears, he's the next one, I think the last one to hit. And you can tell he's trying to slow down. Yeah, he's trying to slow down, but he gets really loose, which brings him down onto the apron. And because the apron's dirty, he can't get it back on the racetrack, and then just gets right into the rear of Seth Cole. So a lot of drivers, even Jake Baskinger sustained damage, and I didn't even see him get into it unless it was a pit road deal. But crazy happenings here at Texas, but Jake Rogers is your race leader. Let's take you to the restart here at Texas. Well, after that caution, the bottom 5 who are not getting points are Dougie Shears, Dylan Young, Ryan Butcher, Kyle Matthews, and Seth Cole. One chaser not getting points, and that's Matthews, and I think that's more or less likely going to put him out of contention for the championship. Top 20 when we get back to racing, Jake Rogers right now the leader. Second is Cody Lamas. Third is Dylan Thoreau. Fourth, Chris Dollarton. Fifth, Tim Fiegel. Sixth is Alex Straden. Seventh, Colin Phillips. Eighth, Zachary Fitzwater. Ninth, Rafael Leduc. 10th is Benjamin Miles. 11th, Paul Minnick. 12th, Carson Gum. 13th, Dylan Jacobs. 14th, Joshua Sakuli. 15th, DJ Curtis. 16th, Diego Yepes. 17th, Ethan Hoffman. 18th, Jay Jefferson. 19th, Jonathan Zorling. 20th, James Qualls. And we're back underway. 8 laps to go here at Texas. Meanwhile, Dylan Thoreau made a quick, abrupt move to take second away from Lamas, and now he's going to try and go inside of Rogers for the race lead. So Dylan Thoreau had an excellent restart right there, but can he make it stick and clear to 56? I think he does, and indeed he does, and will lead that lap. Great move on the part of the 17 car. Meanwhile, Cody Lamas back to the inside as Rogers now is going to lose spots. But look at Tim Fiegel, who's now right up here into the mix. Rafael Leduc, who has been on a winless streak. He hasn't won since Kansas, the finale last season. And he's looking to try and end that winless streak and pick up a win here tonight. That would be cool for him. Meanwhile, look at Lamas, who was one of the dominant cars early in the race. He's now going to go back and try and take the lead away from the 17 of Dylan Thoreau. Ironic that he took the lead from Thoreau to lead early on, now taking it from him, leading late, but 2 cars about to go to his inside. Tim Fiegel now with the run. Rafael Leduc trying to figure out a way around. And Leduc's got a run to the inside. Less than 5 to go here at Texas, and there's still plenty of time for anyone up here at the front to really go for the win. But right now, Leduc has the spot. But look at Jake Rogers, who lost spots on the restart. He's trying to come back up here. Though he got a little bit tight right there and almost made a 4-wide situation. As Paul Minnick thought about making it 4 wide, but decided to back off. But other guys who haven't been up at the front all night are now making their presence felt. DJ Curtis, Dylan Jacobs, even Joshua Sakuli, despite being in the middle right now. But this is all Rafael LeDuc wants to see, is everyone behind him racing while he tries to pull away from the rest of the field. And we're coming to 3 to go here at Texas. Dylan Thoreau right now has the second spot, but Cody Lamas trying to do his best to take the spot from him. Meanwhile, you got a few chasers in a bit of a hornet's nest right now with Rogers, Jacobs, Gum, and Minnick right now all close together, as the highest running chaser right now is Rogers, but the points leader Dylan Jacobs trying to gain as much spots as he possibly can, but they are going to have a slow car in their way. Emmanuel Hartnett, this could really shake the complexity of this race up, although they split them right now, and now the outside's getting held up. Now it's going to be, it looks like it's going to come down to these 3 for the win, but LeDuc still has a bit of a gap as we're coming to the white flag. White flag is out at Texas. Rafael LeDuc has the lead. He just needs to hold them off for a couple more corners, and he'll break his winless streak. Dylan Thoreau still working on trying to close in on the 77. I don't think he's going to have enough time to go for anything, but man, he's given it a valiant effort, but just not enough time. Coming out of turn 4 for the final time, checkered flag. Rafael LeDuc ends a long winless streak, wins the NRA 500 at Texas. Long overdue for that team to get their win this season, and LeDuc's streak of winning at least once per season continues. Definitely going to be a big confidence booster for the rest of the season going into Season 6 for that car, or actually for that driver, but even for the car itself, because there's going to be a new driver in that number 77 car, but we won't know until after Kansas. But let's look at the rest of the results. Dylan Thoreau, like I said, gave it a valiant effort to try and get the win, but just didn't have enough time to really work on a move on the 77, but gets a solid second place finish. Cody Lamas, one of the 2 dominant cars of the night, finishing strong in third. Tim Fiegel, didn't talk much about him tonight, gets a 4th place run, and then the points leader and highest finishing chaser, Dylan Jacobs, in 5th, so he's going to extend on that points lead. Joshua Sakuli, great run in the 6th position. Jay Jefferson looks like he's going to keep that 11th spot in points for now, finishing in 7th. Trent Dunham with a great run in 8th, so good night for both Sega Motorsports cars. Colin Phillips with a solid performance in the 9th spot, highest finishing rookie. And then DJ Curtis rounding out the top 10. Rest of the top 20, then your top 30, and then the rest of the field, including the bottom 5 of Dougie Shears, Dylan Young, Ryan Butcher, Kyle Matthews, Seth Cole. But that does it for our coverage here today at Texas. 3 races left for the championship and for the season. We got the Denver Roval next, then California, and then Kansas. But until we get to the Denver Roval, here are your final results, rookie points and regular points heading into the Denver Roval. This is Levi McIntyre signing off.